Hi, everybody. This is Keith Cobell with Extollo, and I'm really thankful and excited to have a conversation with Debbie Fleser, who has been a big part of the Extollo community for quite some time. And I wanted to take an opportunity for you guys to listen in on a conversation with Debbie and I about her background, about her work, and to get some of her perspectives on being a woman in construction. So Debbie, thank you for getting together with me. And so why don't you share with us about who you are and what you do, and we'll use that as kind of an entree into more conversation.
Perfect. Thanks for having me, especially at this wonderful week of women in construction. So pretty awesome time to be able to share. So I've been in the industry for 38 years. And I have a degree, Associates of Arts degree in interior design. I thought that I wanted to pick colors and furniture. And when I went to school, I found out that there's so much more than just decorating. There's actually about space planning environments for companies, not residential, all commercial. So went to school for 2 years. When I got out, I had a hard time finding a job because the economy wasn't super good. So I started to work for a general contractor as a receptionist. Figured I'd make some money, wait till the economy got better, and then go be an interior designer. And just happened to work for a company that enjoyed what I was doing for them. But I told them I didn't want to be a receptionist. That was not my career aspirations. And that I was going to have to leave to go to pursue my degree in interior design. And the president of the company said, well, Debbie, I think that you have some value and do you want to learn how to estimate? And I'm like, sure, I don't know what that's all about, but sure, I'll go ahead and do that. So they gave me an opportunity from the time that I was a receptionist. And I think it was like for 4 or 5 months. And then they sent me to their San Francisco office, where I was able to have an opportunity to learn how to estimate. I knew nothing about reading drawings. So through a lot of trial and error and determination and will and mentors, I learned how to estimate. I've project managed projects and all commercial. So this is all commercial, no residential. And through my career, I've done pretty much everything that touches construction, estimating, project management, superintendent for 2 years on 2 projects, because I felt like I needed to have a well-rounded background to really be successful at my job. I was the director of project management. And 16 years ago, we opened an office in Silicon Valley and grew that business from 3 million to 300 million right before the pandemic. And so responsible for strategic planning, hiring, client, business development, anything that is there to, make our business unit successful, as well as the development of our employees. So that's a little bit about my,
Fantastic.
Yeah, and I wanted to say, the most important thing about my job is, and what I love about it is cultivating relationships internally and externally, as well as being able to give people the opportunity for career development and serving others. When you become a leader of an organization, it's not about you. It's really about serving others.
Definitely. And so tell us about what your role is right now and your company. You can tell us about your company. What's your role now, and how are you expressing that sense of leadership in your company?
So BCCI Construction is a commercial general contractor. And I am responsible for this business unit and growing this business unit. We're getting into right now new sectors, healthcare, and we do a lot of work for technology companies. And really with working with a team of our leadership team here in this office, as well as our San Francisco office, really looking at how we want to grow organically or really how we're going to move our company to the next level. So really get to, and now in my career, it's now about Debbie stepping aside and letting others lead. So recently, for the last 3 years, been going through working with one of our directors of project management to be a successor for my position. And that happened as of January. So now, and it's amazing. It's a little scary because never done it before. So I have no direct reports, but I'm here to help him be successful, which he doesn't really need me at all. But now I'm going to help the company grow in other areas, in development of our employees, new market sectors. So I get to recreate myself after 38 years. So
wow, what a gift.
Yeah.
That's really great. Yeah. And just let me take a step back a little bit. Remind me how you and David got connected to Extollo and why. Like what was it that drew you into this?
Well, Sherm brought us into it, just talking about what they were doing in Hades. And I was just sharing with somebody just a minute ago, actually a client from this interview that I was just recently doing. And what I liked is we went back to help rebuild an orphanage and then got done doing that. And then just realized, I'm going to put this in my words, is that, hey, we're going to leave. We've created this, but what are we going to give back to the people of Hades? They don't have the resources to be able to educate, to be able to build themselves. So let's build something sustainable. And, being in construction, I was like, that's absolutely amazing, is giving back to a community so they don't have to worry about having other people come in and rescue them. Not that we wouldn't do it if that wasn't needed, but they have an opportunity to grow, develop, to be able to get new skill sets and flourish in Haiti. So that touched my heart and David's heart.
It's great.
Yeah.
Being a woman in construction has challenges, and it's a very male-dominated industry here in the States and definitely in Haiti. And so what have you found to be, in your career and your experience as a woman in leadership in construction, what have been some of the real highlights for you as you're kind of forging almost kind of your own path through this industry?
Really, I was pretty clueless when I got into it. I knew that men were in it, but I had no idea if women were going to be accepted or not. So I was never really intimidated by working with men. I grew up I'm one of 6 kids, hung out with a lot of boys and stuff like that. So maybe a little bit of a tomboy, but I went into it just excited to be able to learn something new. And really, if you think about 38 years ago, there was not very many women in construction. And I think I probably ran across 3 male clients that had issues with women being, in a position that I was. And other than that, I really have not experienced. What I really have experienced is that the subcontractors that I work with, mostly males, they were excited to be able to teach me something. And, it's because I was curious. I wanted to learn and they wanted to help me out. So my experience is been wonderful. And, and that's really how I learned. And, another thing is having mentors was a really big part of my success too, is having people that could help me in the areas that I might have gotten stuck in, and to be able to teach me and for me to gain more knowledge.
It sounds like key for your career has been both that you've had a curiosity, a desire to learn more, and that you've had mentors or people who have responded to wanting to build you as a young professional, a young person. What other kind of keys to success would you give to maybe women who are just starting in the industry or considering starting in the construction industry? What words of advice would you give to them?
It's interesting that you say that because even though our organization is 35% is women, we realize that there's a lot of women that don't even know that there's careers for them in construction.
Mm.
And then I'll answer your question, but this is just an interesting thing, is that we've been outreaching to colleges and to minority high schools. Diversity is really, really important. And realize that a lot of women and males don't know that there's a career in construction other than just, you can build with your hands, but then there's also something that somebody's got to put it together. Somebody's got to estimate it. Someone's got to project manage. There's a lot of different aspects. So it's been really exciting to be able to go out into the community and share with people what construction's about. And it's not just limited to physical building, with your hands. There's a lot of other things to it. So I just wanted to share that. And I think that the best way, if a woman wanted to get into it, is get yourself out into the field, understand how things are built, work alongside somebody. Visually, you can see it on a drawing, but being out there physically and seeing it built was huge for my career. I'd also say, do not be afraid to ask questions. That's the only way that you're going to learn. And ask, because there's no wrong question. And I found out that people really want to teach and to give you that knowledge, and show up every day encouraged and be grateful.
Speaking for myself, but also things I've observed with other men, is that we often come with an conflated sense of confidence, like we know what we're doing, or we can figure this out, and we don't ask those questions. And I think you're absolutely right that a humility of, I don't know what I don't know, and those who respond to that, I think there's a lot of credibility that goes with that, a lot of trust when someone asks good questions and realizes that they don't have to try and figure it out themselves. I know I've baked myself into some bad situations because I assumed that I knew what I was doing. As you know, with Extollo, we're seeing more and more women coming to our level 1 trainings. We actually now have Vanessa, whom you've seen now in this video.
Oh, yeah.
She's kind of a trainer in training right now with us in welding. What words of advice do you have for Extollo as we continue to really seek to build a women in construction aspect of what we do, and how to encourage more women to join our classes and to join our work crews? Give us some advice. I'd be really intrigued to hear your perspective.
Not knowing 100% what the culture is, so I can't speak to that, but I would think, Vanessa, having experienced the welding and being given the opportunity, I think that it's awesome if she continues to share her stories, with friends and other people, so that they'll know that it's just not for male. You can do it as a woman too. So, and I would just say that's a good way as far as the encouragement for her to share that information, and not only her, but the people that are mentoring her, the people that are teaching her, is really to share that experience, is that you can do it. You can work with your hands. You can work alongside these men, I don't want to say these men, but you can, and be colleagues, in team. It's all about teamwork, right? And being able to pull from each other's strengths and weaknesses.
One of the challenges, I think, in a situation where there's so few people, companies like ours, we want to make certain people like our poster children, or a poster child, like here's an example, a model that kind of proves this concept. And I think that's unfair to that person. But it's also an element for us, is how do we get the word out there, get this idea that the construction industry in Haiti there is a place for everyone, including women in this case. And so how to get that word out is something that we constantly wrestle with, is what is the best way to do that without sort of, always putting forward this one person as an example, because there's a downside to that, but there's also that saying, if you've never seen it, you can't dream it. So we want to also help young women who are looking at their opportunities for a job and for a better life to see that the construction industry is one avenue for them.
Well, I think social media is one, and really to be able to, share that information like you did as far as on YouTube. But I think that one thing with Vanessa is she's being trained by somebody. She will become an expert at her field, and then she should be able to mentor, and if she can mentor a male, a female, the word will get out. In my mind, if somebody's seeing that women are getting an opportunity, such like she has, that word of mouth is huge, and people sharing those experiences, male and female, right? So if she becomes a trainer of a male, he can go back and talk to people. Everybody has friends, everybody has family. So I think that, once again, not understanding the culture there, but word of mouth and testimonies of even Vanessa or other women in there, what they've been doing, where they started from, where they are now. And really for Extollo, what's the development plan? What's your commitment to women being involved in what you're building there? And I think that, those couple of things would do really well for you.
Debbie, thank you for taking a few minutes today to chat with us. So thankful for your involvement with all that's going on with Extollo in Haiti, and your involvement with you and David in our mission. So thanks again for taking this time. Really appreciate it.
No problem. And I hope to get there sometime soon. So when things calm down a little bit, David and I would love to go. So
fantastic.